What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dylan Talks Tone. Today we are going to talk capacitors. I always joke about being tired of talking about capacitors and pots, but hello email. It seems to be the most favorite thing in the world for everybody to talk about. So let's talk about it. And we're going to bring something back by popular demand that we have not had around for a while. So I'm kind of excited about this. So, caps. They really kind of they set, I don't want to say the center point, but they kind of set a curve for the rest of the guitar's performance. And they set I guess you could almost call it the potential for what the pickups can do. Because when we put a capacitor between a pot at a particular resistance, 250, 500K, 1 meg, whatever, and ground, it's going to filter off some frequencies, right? Even when the pot is on 10, and a lot of people don't believe that that's true. That's a kind of a myth that goes around, but you're going to hear it in a minute. I'll show you. So how do you select what pots go in what guitar? Every pickup is different. Every guitar is different. The way you play is different. What you use with your amp is different. What amp you use is different. And you know, there's going to be all the people who say, well, 250K pots with single coils and 500K pots with, you know, with humbuckers, and you should put a 22 in a Strat. You should put a but that's such an old school way of thinking. Why not just experiment for yourself and figure it out? So what we're going to do today is we're going to bring back the Orange Drop Capacitor Experimental. Geez, I'm getting a lot of emails during a video. Should have put the Do Not Disturb sign on. We are going to bring back the Capacitor Experimental Kit. You'll be able to get these at DylanTalksTone.com. It's going to come with a 15, a 22, a 33, and a 47, and 2 leads that you'll be able to test on your guitar. So, let's show you how we're going to do this. We're going to use this Telecaster because it's easy to do with a Telecaster. This is not to say this is what you should do with your guitar. But what I really want to do is inspire you to experiment with this stuff, right? Whether it's a Les Paul, Epiphone, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whether it's a Harley Benton versus a custom shop, doesn't matter. I don't care what guitar you have. I don't care what kind of music you play, what amp you use, how much you spent on anything. This is just to experiment with the tones that you already have and see what potential you have in your guitar. Because this is not expensive and it gives you an idea hearing for yourself. So a lot of times I joke a lot about the fact that, you know, my pickups are iPhone speaker certified. You know, people listen to this stuff on the internet and they don't get to hear it for themselves for real, right? So when we go and we experiment with this stuff ourselves, it will give you the feeling that you want to get. Not what you just heard on the internet, not what you heard in some Facebook group, not what you heard somewhere else, but you'll be able to experiment with it for yourself. So let's get this thing on the bench. And we're gonna go ahead and take out the factory Telecaster wiring. I actually made another one that I'm actually shipping out today. We'll put that one in here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And I'll show you, so we make these drop-in kits, but what capacitor do you want in your guitar? Let's experiment with that first. This setup here is actually set up reverse, right? So we've got volume, tone, 3-way. That's irrelevant for what we're talking about because this is always going to pretty much look the same. But if we look right here, you'll see where the cap hooks up to the pot. Now sometimes these wires are switched. That also doesn't really matter. But just wherever that solder joint is right there, okay? Then we want to go ahead and disconnect that right there. So let's go ahead and just do that real quick by just heating it up. And if you're gonna change pots, you could just clip it, I guess. But that's what you're gonna do, okay? And then on wherever that cap was soldered to the pot, not to the chassis of the pot, but to the leg of the pot, that's where you're going to clip one of these clips. Okay? So that guy's just going to go right there. and then the other clip can go on the ground. So just ground it wherever you want. So on this setup, I would probably just ground it like wherever, doesn't matter really, but just on the back of the pot, like on the volume pot where the volume pot grounds, like that. Okay, so then you have these two wires. Whoops. Let's do this correctly. Oh, come on. All right, so now that's grounded. So now we've got these two wires sticking out of the guitar, which we'll demonstrate this in real life, but I just wanted to show you for now. Then you'll just take your cap like this and clip it on one side. It doesn't really matter where, like so. And clip this on the other side, like so. So now this cap is working in the guitar instead of the other one. So let's go ahead and do this for real. I'm actually going to put this wiring setup in the guitar so that that we're doing this accurately, just like I showed you. And then we'll go ahead and go through sound samples and let me know. Tell me how much difference you can tell between these four caps. So we're going to use the four that are going to come in this kit are going to be the common choices for your guitar. So you've got a 15, a 22, a 33, and a 47. Okay, so these four are going to come in the kit. Those are the four common choices. Now, when it's on a Les Paul or anything else, you're going to do the same thing. Wherever that cap hooks up to the pot, you're going to unhook it and you're going to replace it with that wire right there. Okay? We've not even really removed this from the guitar. If you know you're going to change it, just take the cap all the way out. But if you're going to just test it, like we're doing, just take that one leg off. And then this guy's not doing anything. And then whatever we clip here is going to replace it. So we've got our setup here. I put tape on the guitar so I don't scratch my guitar. You could set this up any way you want, but basically I just pulled the controls out of the Telecaster and they're hanging here. And so what we're going to do is this is the circuit with no tone capacitor at all. All right, so now let's go ahead and put the 15 in there. So to do a proper comparison to this, I'm going to actually edit this. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to play this at the tone on 10, the tone on 5, and then the tone, well, let's do the tone on 10, the tone on about 7, and then the tone on about 3, okay? I'm going to do that so that you can hear, because a lot of people don't think that the tone knob does anything at all when it's on 10, but that's just not true. So you'll probably be able to hear that. Depending on what you're watching it on, what you're listening on. Obviously, this is not an iPhone speaker certified test, but you'll get the idea. So here is all of 4 capacitors in this order: 15, 22, 33, 47 on tone knob on 10. Here's 7. And here's about 5. Well, get in the comments and let me know what you think. How much difference could you hear for each of these capacitors? With the volume on 10, or with the, I apologize, the volume was always on 10. The tone on 10, and then about 7 and about 5. It's really interesting, right? It changes it shifts everything depending on the capacitor value. Now, every guitar is going to be different because your pot, so like if this had 500K pots in it, it would react differently. If it had 250K pots in it, it would react differently. If it had humbuckers in it, it would react differently. Every guitar, and how you play too, right? So like the amp that you're using and everything, it's all a package. This is just one piece of the puzzle. So that's why I like to zoom out and kind of look at everything. That's why a test like this is kind of fun. To figure it out. Now, a long time ago, we had these test kits on our website. We had the 2 leads and the 4 capacitors in a package that you could buy, and there was a time when we couldn't stock them. We couldn't stock them for quite a while, and so we've been getting a bunch of requests to bring these back lately. And so I thought, you know, let's do it. Let's let you experiment. There's no wrong answer to this, right? It's a matter of how you set your guitar up. It's just the fun of experimenting with it and trying it. All you have to do is take that one side off your capacitor and then ground this capacitor to that side of that other one. This is a really fun experiment to do. I am in this guitar a fan of 15 because that's just what I like, and that's like the stock Telecaster. Typically 22s are in Strats, and then 33s and 47s depending on what humbucker guitar. But a lot of people use 22s and humbuckers too. It just kind of depends. Do your own experimenting. Order this kit. Do your own experimenting. These are real Sprague orange drop caps. So whatever you decide to put in your guitar, they'll work and they'll be awesome, and they're very high quality parts. And then, you know, you might decide, oh, I don't like it in this guitar, but I do like this other capacitor value in this other guitar. This will serve you a few different ways probably. So there you go. Put them. Let me know I really want to know in the comments though what you heard. Okay, there's no wrong answer to this. This is not. Some people are going to say I didn't hear any difference between it. Some people who've been playing a lot longer, maybe they've heard something different. Or maybe our ears are worn out because we've been rocking out for our whole life. Doesn't matter. There's no wrong answer. Let me know what you heard in the comments. The one thing I will tell you though is a myth that a lot of people believe is that you can't tell the difference between 10 and anything else. And you heard that that is not true. It is definitely different even at 10. It changes the entire frequency range of the guitar when you change the capacitor. So, and there's science behind that. Basically, it's, yeah, there you go. Thanks for hanging out. Link in the description. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Thanks to all my Patreon supporters who support these videos and make these kind of things possible. This link will be down there. You can order these things right now. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next video.